Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, this is actually, I green screened Mary's face, so it's it fits, but it's actually really big and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I'm glad that Chris remains my friend, even though I have a huge head.
Yeah, it's like that episode of Jimmy Neutron where Sheen's head grows really big.
Sometimes Chris has to help me through doorways because my head is so huge.
I have to put you in a wheelchair on your head.
Yes, that's right.
Because it's so heavy now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I have that. So thank you for doing that all the time.
You're welcome.
I am playing Eastward, though. Have you ever heard of that game?
No.
It's for the Switch. I think it's for other platforms as well. But it's like a post-apocalyptic world where everyone lives underground. Mm-hmm. And you play like this guy's name's John. And he's a digger. It's called a digger. Basically, you go in and, he does digging. He's a digger. And he has a job during like the night. That's what he does. And then he finds this child. Mm-hmm. This child.
A child.
Growing in this little like, tube or whatever.
Jesus?
And then, yes, Jesus the child. And he takes her under his wing because she doesn't have any parents. She doesn't have any like buddy to care for her. So he decides to.
Wow.
So basically it's just them. Like he got her into a school, which is like very horrible. Like the school's horrible. Like it's terrible. Like everything's terrible down there. Like it's just like everyone's kind of living in trash and it's very like,
Sounds like
ugly. Yeah. But there starts to be talks of like this kid. He's like, well, I saw the like above ground. There was blue sky and like green grass, and everyone thinks he's crazy because like they don't know that exists because they're so used to this world of like being underground. So you don't know what happened. Like I don't know what happened yet. Like to make them all be forced underground, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to go explore up above ground. But the story is really cool, and it's the style is Stardew Valley. It's very like it looks kind of like Stardew Valley because Chucklefish, the same person that. Or the same company that put that out made this game. So I feel like I really like that company, and I feel like the style really fits it because it's kind of contradicting like moods. It's like, wow, on one side there's like this dark decrepit world you live in, but the humor of the game, there's a lot of humor and like lightheartedness. Yeah. And the two play against each other, I think, in a really good way. And I'm really enjoying it. Game's great.
It sounds it reminds me kind of there's this game, I don't remember what it's called, but the premise is like, so you start out, there's like a nuclear attack that's gonna happen, and you get like a countdown. So you start off every time like you restart or start a new game, it starts off and you have like I think like a minute to run around your house and collect items, and you go into your bunker, and it's a point and click game from that point on. And it's basically like it's like the dad, the mom, and like a brother and a sister. And so you have whatever you brought down into the bunker with you, and then like the bunker has like food and like water and stuff, and you have like other items. And it's like a point and click thing, and like people will come up to like the door in the bunker and knock, and like you have the choice to like go up and like greet them and like talk to them, and like sometimes you get stuff, sometimes it's like negative. Like I really wish I could remember what it was called because it was kind of cool.
Is that the game? Like I played a similar game to that, but I don't know if it was like a bunker situation. Was it like levels? There was like levels. Okay, never mind. No, not the
like
game I played.
You can die because you can starve, or like you can dehydrate, or like because you can send like your kids out into like the radioactive wasteland.
Timmy, go out there.
No, literally.
Give me a squirrel. Give me a radioactive squirrel.
And sometimes he comes back with stuff, and like the whole idea is like you're waiting to be rescued, so you're just trying to like stay alive.
That sounds really cool. I think I'd be into that game.
It was interesting, but yeah, I this week I have just been playing Inscription.
Oh, tell me! I want to play that so badly.
Yeah, because I've just heard so many amazing good things about it, and like, I've like watched some streams of people playing it, and just because I wanted to get a better idea of what it was like, because I'm not really big into card games, and like I wanted to see like, oh, is it all card games, or is there like other aspects to it? And there are other aspects to it. It's really cool. And the card game aspect of it is actually really fun. I really enjoy it.
Do you build a deck?
Yeah, so
deck building.
So it's deck building. It's very similar, and it definitely draws inspiration from Magic.
Oh God, sign me up.
No, yeah,
that's
because
all you have to say.
Because you have all these different cards. There's different sigils that have like different abilities, and there's different like card powers and defense powers and like numbers, and it's one of those games that keeps unfolding and like unfurling, and you keep learning more as you like figure stuff out. Because I'm on I must be close to the end because I'm starting to learn. I've gotten really close to learning like the nature of like the game and like what's going on, and I've gotten past because like you start out where it's like one of the like villains like perceptions of the game, and then like and then like after you beat him, you're in like an 8-bit version of the game.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Where you have to like take over, and then like a different villain takes over, and then you have to play his version of the game. And so the mechanics of the card gameplay is the same, but every like villain who's like in power at the time like has different cards and they have different abilities and different sigils and like different power. So it's just like it's very, very cool. Like it's very well thought out. Like, and it's just really cool how like the mechanics of the cards are the same, like of the gameplay itself, but like the actual abilities of the cards change. And it's cut up like between like the game itself and then with like almost like real-time video. It's like a guy who's like a card collector in the real world, and he like finds these cards, and one of them has coordinates on it, and he goes and he digs up like a floppy disk that has this like digital version of Inscription on it. And so he's like, oh, like I never knew of like an Inscription video game. He was like, it's just a card game. And so it's like that part is really creative too, because it's like you learn about the lore of it through this guy who is like basically like a YouTuber who makes like pack opening videos.
That's really cool. Also, that's related to Magic as well, because there's people on YouTube that do pack openings for Magic the Gathering.
And so so it's just really cool. And then he's figuring out what the hell is going on, and the actual gameplay is you're playing as him in the video game.
That's really cool. I'm really into that idea.
And it's just very, very cool. Like I think I'm very, very close to the end because like I've figured out a bunch of lore in terms of like how like the game was created, like how like the mechanics of it work, and like this like character, his relation to like how the game was made, and like it's very, very interesting, and it's just another really well like thought out narrative pathway where like things like it's like I feel like it's like on something on like a coil unraveling. Like you're slowly like learning like all of the intricacies and like how all these things are related and why this exists and what's going on. But it starts out like you think you're just playing like a virtual card game, like deck building game.
And what'd you play this on?
Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually been
on the Steam. And at the full controller support?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wah.
So just keyboard?
Yeah.
Mouse, okay.
But it's so worth it.
Yeah, I definitely want to play. When I first saw the trailers for that like drop, I was like, this is a game that I want to play.
Yeah.
And then I talked to a couple of my Magic the Gathering friends that play Magic, because I play Magic.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you heard of this game? It's kind of similar, deck building type of thing. And they're like, oh, I've heard like bad things about it. And, like,
interesting.
They were saying like, oh, like it's not, like I'm not related to that at all. Or I'm not interested in that at all. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm still interested in it.
Yeah.
But my question is to you then. After
you're like, are you going to learn how to play Magic the Gathering?
That's exactly my question. But not even learn. You don't have to learn the whole,
you don't have
lore.
to learn.
You just have to play with me. Are you going to play Magic with me?
No.
Well,
cut the cameras.
Come on. We got to get some followers in here so the followers in chat could be like, whoa.
Yes, they can bully me.
Yeah, be like, play Magic with her. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm like, even despite enjoying this game, I still don't want to play a card game.
What about, have you ever heard of the game Dominion?
No.
Okay, well, you heard it here. I tried.
Chris is ignorant.
I really tried.
No, I don't know. I think it's because this game is accompanied by narrative, whereas like I would play a board game or a card game, like anyone that has like a narrative aspect to it. Like I would probably really like D&D or like those kinds of games, but it's like I don't like static card games where I'm just like, okay, I built this really cool deck and like,
yeah,
like I like a story.
Okay. Well,
because that was the thing. That's why I was apprehensive of it at first, because I was like, I don't want to play a virtual card game.
Well, would you be willing to play one board game with me that has lore to it and kind of a storyline? Binding of Isaac.
Maybe.
It's a video game that they made into a board game.
I'm aware of the video
game.
It
is so good.
Maybe.
Okay.
We could do it on stream.
We got a maybe here.
We can do it on
That's
stream.
all I can ask for. But Inscription, I want to play that. That's definitely on my list of games.
That you will play one day.
I do have a buy list, no buy list this year to get back in my financial security. And I did put video games on my no buy list. But I said podcast related video games and or podcast related anything I can buy. So you've told me this on the podcast. So I'm allowed to buy it.
Yep.
There are rules to this.
Yeah, and it's recorded permanently forever, so
That's right.
there's evidence.
So I feel like I have to buy it. You're kind of twisting my arm there a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ow! Ow! That hurts so much.
Maybe I can send it to you as a gift in Steam.
That's right, because then I can Venmo you.
So it's just like totally pointless.
I still paid for it.
Well, anyway, guys, we're gonna jump into our topics for today now that we've gotten the goodies out of the way. Let me just get over onto my notes here. Whoa.
Ooh.
So, Mary, the D.I.C.E Awards are coming up.
Okay, enlighten me. I don't know what the D.I.C.E Awards are.
Well, Mary, I'm so glad you asked because the first paragraph of my notes here tell you about the D.I.C.E Awards. So,
I put my glasses on and I'm silently reading and we don't say anything to them and we're just like,
So, the D.I.C.E Awards are they're another type of video game awards that are run by AIAS, which is the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences.
oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the D.I.C.E Awards are, from my understanding, kind of like the more reputable award show because they actually have a panel of 22,000 people who vote, and they come from all different disciplines. So I pulled straight from their website a description of their panel. So it's a peer panel assembled by AIAS, which is the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences, of over 100 video game professionals across several facets of the industry, including developers, programmers, artists, and publishers. The nominees then are then voted on by the full membership of the AIAS, which is 22,000 people.
Yes.
So via a confidential and secured voting system, and they are announced during the D.I.C.E Summit in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's really cool because this is more technical aspect as opposed to popularity.
And also I think it's an interesting sample group of people because yes, it's 100 people specifically from the video game community, but then the academy, the AIAS is broader. It's all art, interactive arts and sciences. So it's not just about video games. So you have people who probably don't really know much about video games who are then going to look at these things way more objectively. And I think that that's good.
Yeah, I think that's good too.
Because there's so much opinion and sway when it's just people from the video game community voting on these awards and choosing these things. So
it can be a popularity contest sometimes.
Exactly.
Where the most popular game wins, even though there are other games that maybe aren't as well known and or played and or smaller independent companies. This really gives the independent companies a doorway in maybe to win an award, to get some recognition and some things that they haven't been able to because maybe they're not the most popular hot game to play at the moment. Hot ticket.
So it's going to be held in February this year, or it always is, but February. And so I pulled some of the categories. Now, just like the other game awards, there's 30 categories or something that get voted on. So I just pulled the big boys, the honkin' chonkins.
The hot one, the hot topics.
Yeah,
the hot topics.
The hot topics.
Yeah, I love
Straight from the mall.
Yeah.
And so I figured we would just go down the list, and again, kind of like we did with the video game awards, we would just kind of go through the nominations and give our little about what we think.
A little
ooh. So
little.
So the first category is Game of the Year. And so the games nominated for Game of the Year are Deathloop, Inscription, It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart, and Returnal. Mary, what do you think about these nominations?
I like those nominations. It's missing one very blatantly not there game, but we'll talk about that later because I've seen that in other nominations. Yeah. But I would say I do like the fact that Inscription is on here. Yeah. Because I don't think that was really nominated a lot for the Game Awards. Yeah. And I feel like it's revolutionary, I feel like, in a lot of ways. There's some topics there, like you were talking about. I haven't played it, and I know that you have more experience with it. But just from, looking at it from without playing it, I can tell that it's different. It has, it gives, players a different feel to video games. It definitely pushes the boundaries and, pushes games forward and, what they can do. And I feel like that's a good thing to have in there. Ratchet and Clank also, Rift Apart, That game is technically so
very
smooth.
Very good. Yeah.
It's insanely good. And like, I think the Game Awards kind of didn't give it as much recognition as I thought it was going to, what I expected. Not that like it deserved it or whatever, but I do feel like it definitely needed to be talked about more.
Right. Or needed like at least like a lot of technical recognition.
Yes.
It is like it's visually impressive, and then just the smooth seamlessness of everything from like every mechanic, even like the teleportation and like into portals.
Yes.
Like all of that stuff. It was just like whew.
And the speed, like I zoom through that. Like when you get the boots that you can like propel yourself forward, and which is one of the most fun like areas of the game, I feel like so far for me. I was expecting some lag. I was expecting some, performance issues, but I didn't run across any performance issues.
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the games that I was expecting because it is one of the PS5 showrunners of the game like industry so far. And I feel like, it's trying to push so many boundaries. It's going to have some faults in it. But I personally didn't find anything while I was playing it. And I played maybe 30 hours so far.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive because any other game, I would have at least run across something. And another thing is, you jump right into the game. It's so smooth, the transition, what you were saying. That's definitely refreshing. So that on a technical level, definitely I could see that.
Yeah. And I also agree with Inscription. I feel like it's a really great example of just fun, good gameplay mechanics, simple, fun gameplay mechanics. It's a deck building game, yeah, but very well thought out. The atmosphere is so good because each of the villains, they're called scribes. But
are they technically bosses, by the way? Are those bosses, the villains?
Yes, they're final bosses for each of the levels. So they all have totally different atmospheres, different moods, different personalities. One of them is a robot, so when you're in his version of the game, everything is mechanical, is chrome and metal and
that's cool.
Robotic, it's digital, the game board is digital.
Nice touch.
Versus the first the first enemy is you're in a cabin essentially, and it's so it's very rustic and
I think that's what I've mostly seen is the cabin.
The first part, yeah. That's definitely where that's definitely where you see the most in previews and stuff, but it gets even cooler from there. Like I said, there's an 8-bit version that you play.
That's what excites me. I love 8-bit.
So so it is really, really cool, and it's a great example of just visual creativity. I think the gameplay mechanics are cool. I think that intercutting it with the real video of a person acting. I don't know if that guy is someone who worked on the game or if it's an actor they hired, but it's a real person. And having lore told in that way of this is a guy who collects game packs and opens them on camera and
that's cool.
Found this and now he's recording himself playing the game.
So I mean, again, but is it FMV? When you say real person, do you mean there's
it's a video?
Oh, so it's so it's full motion video.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So it's just really cool and really well put together. Obviously, It Takes Two won a ton of awards already, but it's again same thing. And I think it's really interesting. When you look at these nominations, they all stylistically are very unique.
Yes. Which
I think is really interesting because when you consider the panel for the people who voted on these, it's very broad, right? It's just all interactive arts and sciences. So it's interesting to me because I'm these people, I wonder if they're just viewing it as from a visual perspective, because all these games visually are very impressive and very unique.
Yeah. No, I would say
versus when you do have just people who are in video games, you do have people who are focusing on technicality, builds, all that kind of stuff,
gameplay.
The back end stuff, not just what you see.
Yeah.
So it is, as we go down the list, I do wonder if that also affects a lot of these choices, because the panel is so largely just people who work generally in interactive arts and sciences, if that affects choices at all. Because there are other categories technical and stuff like that, which I didn't pull, but yeah. Food for thought.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
And I'm hungry.
And I'm hangry.
Hangry.
Okay, so the next category that I pulled was Outstanding Achievement in Animation. So we have Call of Duty Vanguard, Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
Kena! Bridge of Spirits! When I think animation, I think that. I mean, the people that made it
are
animators. That's what they do. That's what they did before. It's a shoo-in. I can't see any other game.
If they don't win that, I'm gonna go.
I mean, I feel like they're gonna be like, should we even animate anymore?
Should we even live anymore?
This is the award we should have won, the only one, like the most one. But I feel like definitely like Hina, yes, they definitely came from an animation background. You could tell that playing the game. You could tell that just by watching the previews.
Yeah,
because it looks like a Pixar movie. But not only that, they made it so fluid in a gaming environment for their first time trying to do it.
Oh yeah,
that it was really impressive. Like the achievement that they got across to a player, and also just an achievement on visuals.
Yeah,
just bringing the two worlds together, bringing like the movies like into a video game world. I feel like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
I'm biased because I love that game. That was my game of the year.
Oh yeah.
When it came out and I played it, but I do think that
it's a great game.
It is a great game, but it looks beautiful too. I do think I liked the animation in Deathloop. I thought it was very stylistic. I did really enjoy that. Ratchet and Clank, yes.
Again, yes. We
great
just said
animation. That. Yeah. Resident Evil Village kind of surprises me.
Yeah. Like, I was also kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. Call of Duty, I know nothing. Call of Duty, I know nothing about. Like, absolutely nothing about.
I was going to say, Call of Duty and Resident Evil are the most strange ones for me in this list in terms of animation. Call of Duty, again, I don't play Call of Duty, so I don't know. My guess is maybe like maybe the animation was great. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't play it, so
I have no opinion on it.
And I've seen no gameplay of it.
Yeah, I've seen no gameplay, no like. I don't even know if I've seen trailers, and maybe I have, but I didn't even pay attention to them. So I have no opinion on Call of Duty. Deathloop, I could see why it's nominated. Kena should win.
Yep.
Ratchet and Clank, see why.
Yep.
Resident Evil Village, confusing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like Resident Evil Village was a great game and was smooth and like stylish. But in terms of like animation, I don't really consider it to be like, whoa.
Because when I think, okay, this is what brings up in the animation achievement. I remember the scene where Lady D is like chasing you in the mansion, and you can go to that room where you're safe.
Yeah.
And she kept swinging, like she was waiting by the door, and you could like hear her through the door, but she couldn't come in.
Man thing.
And she kept swinging her arm, and you could see the arm coming through the door. I was like, yeah, you can't get me.
I'm innocent for you.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Because also Resident Evil doesn't have a ton of cutscenes.
No. I mean, the one cutscene that I will say was very impressive was, I forget what his name is, the guy with the hat, like glasses.
Oh,
you fought you were in like a motorized
I don't remember his name. It starts with H.
Yeah, but like you were in like a motorized like vehicle at first, and then
that was pretty cool.
It went up in the air, and like you fell in the air, and like
that's actually you know what, I
really
kind of
cool.
take it back because now I'm remembering all of the like boss battle scenes.
Yes.
And those, like especially the final boss battles was really good.
Yes, it was
with Miranda. But still, like compared to the other games in this category, I think that overall animation and consistency of animation throughout the game, like all these other games, again, I don't know too much about Call of Duty, but Deathloop, Kena, and Ratchet definitely like up here compared to Resident Evil.
So since we know the least amount of Call of Duty, that'll win.
Yep. Probably. So after that, we have Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction. So again, Call of Duty, Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident Evil.
I feel like the same argument here stands for what I said. Kena, all the way. It's beautifully, the color schemes in it, like it fits with nature in such a way that I feel like it really pushes the storyline forward and pushes you in that realm and that world. It brings you in. Yeah. And definitely because of the art. Yeah. And they took their time. They learned they took cultural aspects of real world and real life cultures as well into it. And you could tell just in the art. So definitely feel like Kena.
Yeah. This one for sure, Resident Evil makes more sense in terms of art.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I would give it to Kena or Ratchet. I mean, Deathloop, Deathloop also really cool stylistically. But I would probably give it to Kena as well.
Yeah, and Deathloop, I haven't really played it at all. I don't know if the stylistic cutscenes are like just for the cutscenes or the actual game as you're playing it. So I don't know.
Okay, and then we have Outstanding Achievement in Character. So we have Colt from Deathloop, Kena from Kena Bridge of Spirits, Alex from Life is Strange, Rivet from Ratchet and Clank, and then Lady D from Resident Evil Village.
This list is a little bit more intricate, I feel like. Yes. Because there are some games here where I don't know much about. I do know every game except for Deathloop, so I don't know much about Colt. Yep. That's the only character that I don't know much. Yeah. I feel like he does go through a lot of transitions in the game, like a lot of character arc. But Kina, I will say though, I wasn't very connected to the character Kina.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't really pull me in. I don't know if it was like the voice acting or anything to do with that, because I think they did a fine job.
Yeah.
I think she was okay.
Yeah.
Like, I think the character was okay. Not like exceedingly like interesting and or like I wanted to know more about her.
Well, because I feel like compared to a lot of other characters on this list, I don't feel like she had like a transformation as much. So
yeah,
like, I mean, and I also like so I didn't beat or like play a ton of Ratchet and Clank, so I don't really know too much about Rivet. Colt from Deathloop, like, also I've only played a little bit of Deathloop, so like I only have sort of vague like understanding of like Colt's character. Lady D is like definitely very interesting because like you definitely like learn more about her character and about like, you know, like why she is the way she is, but like not that much. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like this list is very interesting to me because I'm just curious like what achievement in character is like.
Yeah,
is it like achievement in just like design of character? Is it achievement in like character narrative? Because narratively, I'm like some of these characters I'm like
yeah, and like as impact, like I wonder if like it's achievement in character impact, because the Lady D impacted the gaming world in a big way. Well, yeah, in a big way, big bosom
triple D way.
Yeah, so she did impact, and she carried, like, she wasn't even that much of the game when you actually play it,
right?
But she really pushed, I feel like, the sales, also people getting like revved up for it, excited about it,
right?
And is that an achievement in character?
Right.
I will say though, if it is an achievement in design of character, I will say Life is Strange: True Colors, because of the facial animation in the game.
Yeah.
And the way that even the developers, they were talking about it in the behind the scenes footage about it. They were like, we wanted to design this game so that when you looked at a character, you could tell their emotions, because the game is based on emotions, because her power is through emotions.
Yeah.
And that was one of the major things they really put time and effort into, was making sure that those emotions conveyed through facial animation.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool for Alex. So I could see that.
I was gonna say I could see Alex in this for the same reason. Like I guess like, and I mean I don't have the keyboard, so I can't really look it up in the moment. But because I think the website did give little blurbs about what each category was, and I probably should have looked closer at that. But yeah, if it's like for character design, I would actually probably say Alex as well for those reasons. If it's for character narrative, though, like how a character evolves and changes throughout a story, I really don't know who I would choose.
Yeah, I mean,
because the other thing is like I said, I didn't beat Deathloop, I have not beat Kina, and I have not beat Ratchet. So
yeah,
but I've played a significant amount of those games, but I haven't beat it, so I can't speak to a character's narrative or character arc throughout a whole story.
Yeah, and I mean I'm biased because I played through Life is Strange completely,
right?
And I know that character did go through a huge like transition, like a huge character arc, you know,
right? And
what she meant for the gaming community, like in the LGBTQ like community as well. Like I feel like that is definitely a plus. But yeah.
So the next category is Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition. So, you know, I'm a slut for music, so I chose these categories. So we have Deathloop, It Takes Two, Kina, Psychonauts 2, and Returnal.
I think Deathloop has a great like soundtrack, from what I can tell. I don't know much about It Takes Two, the music composition. Kina, I can tell you it's beautiful. It made me cry.
Beautiful.
Like the music made me cry. Like seriously, tears.
I'm crying right now.
I'm crying anyway. So, and Psychonauts 2, I don't know that as much. And Returnal, I've only seen you play it.
I would say probably for me, Deathloop or Kina. Returnal doesn't, well...
Does it evoke... See, the thing with music composition is, like, does it evoke an emotion? Like, does it evoke a mood?
Yeah, that, and, like, does it you know, support the game's vision, too? And so, like, that's why I would say Deathloop or Kina, because because in both cases the soundtrack really drives the vision of the game and the mood of the game, especially Deathloop. I would say Deathloop personally, but Returnal's interesting because I haven't beat Returnal, but I've made a lot of progress. It's really good audio design, but for music composition, I don't recall it having like a really significant score.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking also from like just like advertisements, things like that, gameplay footage, because I've watched a lot of people play it, like through gameplay, and I haven't really remembered, or nothing's memorable about the music.
Yeah.
I do think that it emitted a mood, like a kind of a darkness, because the game is very dark and the game is very like mysterious and you don't know what's going on. So it does do that effect well, I feel like, from what I've listened to. But other than that, like, it doesn't hit me like with, that music composition though.
Right, whereas like you said, Kena is it evokes emotion, and then Deathloop is just very like, it suits the mood of the game and the different moods, whether it's like daytime, nighttime, you're in this area, you're in that area, you're in a battle, you just won a battle, like the mood, the music really fits super well for those two games in particular. Returnal, I would say, it's just interesting to me because there isn't a lot of music in it. It's a lot of audio design, which is the next category, which I think it's also nominated for.
My vote's Kena. My vote's Kena for music composition.
Well, I was going to say, well, that's fine. I thought you were going to say for audio design, and I'm like, it was not nominated. Mary.
Whatever.
So audio design, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank, and Returnal. I would say Returnal for this. Either Returnal or I know Forza Horizon, because I think that won this category in the video game awards. Just because, like, car sounds.
Vroom, vroom.
Car sounds, vroom, vroom. Very cool.
With the vroom, vrooms and the turns and the music and the whoop and the stop.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much going on there in a car.
Because I do know, I think it was Forza Horizon, maybe, where they actually, like, went out and recorded cars and, like, all that stuff. So it's, like, very cool how they got the sound effects and the sounds and audio design for that game. Haven't played Halo.
Yeah, I haven't really played It Takes Two yet, Chris.
Whoa,
yet.
Foreshadowing.
Call back later on.
Ratchet and Clank, sure, but like I would give it to Returnal, because in terms of like audio design, just being immersive, and like especially like I was playing Returnal with my headphones plugged in my controller, and I felt like I was in that space. And it's just cool. You can hear stuff around you. You can hear like 3D audio where the enemies are. And just like the sounds of the enemies, the sounds of like your guns firing, running, walking, jumping, the ambient sounds, like it's very atmospheric and very moody. So I would give it to Returnal.
And I'm a huge fan of Alien and Aliens, and Returnal reminds me of that.
Yes.
So that gets my vote.
And then the last one that I picked out was Ouchievement. I almost...
Ouch Achievement.
Ouchievement.
Ouchie. The best ouchie in a game.
The best ouchie game. the most outstanding achievement in story. So Before Your Eyes, Inscription, Guardians of the Galaxy, Psychonauts 2, and The Forgotten City.
Wait, Before Your Eyes. What is... I don't know what that game is.
I've never heard of that.
Me neither. That makes me really curious.
Everyone in chat is like, bah!
You don't know Before Your Eyes?
The best
Can
game
you
ever!
Even see?
And I'm like, no, because it's not before my eyes.
Before my eyes.
Came into before eyes were invented.
Yeah, before my eyes were invented, when I was in the womb.
This is a tough one, actually, because for me, it's between Inscription and Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm going to give my vote, having never... Forgotten City, I also don't know what that is.
I have Forgotten City downloaded on my PS5, and I have not played it yet.
Okay.
So...
And I don't know Psychonauts 2. So these opinions of mine that I'm giving are very like one-sided and like not knowing a lot of information about these games. So I wouldn't really take my opinion into anything. But I feel like Inscription for this. Just because the story is the game. I feel like that's what propels it forward, and that's what makes it so interesting, and people want to play it and start a conversation about it.
And also, because I'm torn because I have beat a significant amount of Inscription. I've beat Guardians of the Galaxy twice. Now, and Guardians of the Galaxy won the similar category at the Video Game Awards, and I'm stuck now because I hadn't played Inscription when Guardians of the Galaxy won this before. And so I was like, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. But now I'm kind of like, well, fuck, because they both have really good narratives. But Inscription, I feel like, is just more, it's the narrative paired with the actual gameplay mechanics. And the way that the story is told to you is very interesting and very well done. So I think I'm going to actually give it to Inscription this time.
All right.
Because Guardians has a good story because it's very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
But Inscription, I felt like was more creative in the delivery of the narrative. So
we're all for creativity.
And it has a cool narrative. And again, like I said, it's like unwinding a coil. Like you slowly learn the nature of this world and learn all this stuff over time. It's not just like lore bomb.
Yeah, and I feel like Inscription,
you really do just go into it. I mean, now you don't because I've told you what it's about. But like if I hadn't said anything and you had never looked anything up and you just played it, you'd be like, oh, it's just a digital card game until it's not.
Well, I knew going into it that it's more than what meets the eye with that game.
Yeah,
for sure. I didn't think it was just like a card game, but I think that the story, the original story, like if the award had to go for best original story, I would say Inscription.
Yeah.
Just because Guardians of the Galaxy, even though I've heard from you and from other sources that the storyline's really good, I do feel like it's a story that's been told in different ways.
Yeah.
Like maybe not in that exact way, but Inscription's very unique.
Right.
And it pushes the industry forward. And I think these awards, they should really go for games that push the industry forward.
Right, and show what possibilities are out there for game design.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like I said, there are a crap ton of other categories that I chose to leave out because I wanted to speak to the ones that I thought were the most interesting for us. But there are like categories about like technical stuff. Then there are the different genre categories. And I was like, we're not going there.
Best fart in a game.
Yeah, me. So yeah, the D.I.C.E Awards are going to be held in Las Vegas this year on the 24th.
Not live though, right? Is it virtual? Or is it
I don't know,
in person?
Actually.
Okay. Because I know...
I hope I can watch it online though.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe we could stream it.
Yeah, that would be nice. And I also, like, related to that, like, the D.I.C.E Awards are being held in Las Vegas this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's virtual or in person. But they said that E3 was not happening in person this year because it was supposed
E3
to.
is only online.
Yeah, because they canceled the in-person this year and they're just doing online. And I have an opinion about that. I feel like those events, I like them being virtual for the most part because it invites people in like that can't go to E3.
Right.
Or otherwise couldn't. Or like couldn't go to these events, couldn't travel to them, afford them.
Right.
Or they're exclusive enough to where you can't get a ticket for it.
Right.
I like virtual events. I feel like it brings me more into and gets me more hyped about these awards.
Yeah, it's cool because you can witness the presentations and stuff. Obviously, there's something to be said about like booths and physical things that you can't do online, but like the bulk of the interesting stuff that I think happens at E3, that might actually be a very naive comment. I think, but a lot of the stuff that like I would actually want to hear about and learn about would come from the presentations that you could do online.
Yes.
So, yeah, that is that. So next up, we have to talk about PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Because Mary and I are PlayStation 5 owners. Let's get that out of the way.
Own a PS5.
Once per episode.
The OG one.
So PlayStation is going to continue making PS4s to help with the PlayStation 5 shortage. Now, how does that work?
They're like, if we don't have that, we give them what they already have.
We give them what they already have. So yeah, according to an article published by Bloomberg, Sony is going to be continue to produce the PlayStation 4 console through 2022 while they navigate the disruptions to the global supply chain that have limited the output of the pricier PlayStation 5. So as we know, PlayStation 5s have been in limited supply due to COVID-19.
Oh, we know.
And its stress on the market. The pandemic has made availability of key parts sparse, thus suppressing the production of PlayStation 5 consoles worldwide. I'm not wearing my glasses, so... That was
actually impressive. That was impressive.
Did you see me earlier, like, slyly increase the font size?
Yes, I did. I was like, perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect. That's nice. That's a good font size.
And additionally, so scalpers have also made it difficult for retailers to maintain stock of the already scarce PS5. The inflation of the prices by scalpers have made it even more difficult for consumers to get their hands on the elusive console, Mary.
Get their greedy little hands on it.
Their greedy little grubby gamer hands.
Baby hands.
So Sony says continuing to produce the PS4 will give them the ability to negotiate with manufacturers a better deal with console production, and producing PS4s will continue to fill the supply vacuum and keep gamers within the PlayStation ecosystem. So in the meantime, while Sony continues to struggle with producing PS5s due to chip shortages, people will be able to get PS4s and continue to play PS4 games. And obviously we're in that transition period anyway where there's crossover anyway between PS4 and PS5.
A lot of upgrades. Like if you buy the PS4, you get the PS5 upgrade.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like, you can continue to play games that are coming out, do it on PS4. I think it makes sense because, if there are people who want to play PlayStation games and can't get a PS5 due to supply issues, they can get a PS4, play the games. You get the upgrade when you get a PS5 in most cases. So I understand the supply vacuum comment that they mentioned in their article. And a spokesperson for Sony says they have no plans to currently stop the production of the ultra successful PS4 console, and they'll continue to produce it for now. Although I did read allegedly somebody from the company said that they were planning to stop producing it at the end of 2021.
Oh no, yeah, that was definitely the plan.
But they're like,
no, with the chip shortages, because PlayStation is notorious for wanting a clean transition. They want a clean slate.
Yes.
Like they go from one console to the next, and they drop they stop making last gen games pretty quickly because they want people to buy the new gen.
Right.
So I think if the chip shortages weren't going to be happening, the PS4 would already be old news. It'd be out. It would be out the door.
Yeah.
But now I feel like because their plan was to get rid of it, and now their plan all of a sudden is to, we got to bring it back.
Yeah, we have to keep it.
I feel like they're kind of rushing into this a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how they're going to apply this, whether that be games that are going to be released for the PS5 this year. A lot of games are going to be dropping. Are they going to elongate those games coming out for the PS4 too? Are they going to pressure those game developers and those people that are coming out with the games to make it for PS4?
Right.
To be able to, have it be cross-generation games.
Right.
Even though maybe the game isn't built for that, and maybe they have to go in and
then we have a cyberpunk issue.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious to see how that all plays out. I understand the financial reason why they're doing this makes total sense. I also feel like it's just I'm not gonna say lazy. I'm gonna say there could have been more strategy with it. Giving more deals, if they have deals along with it, if the PlayStation 4, they cut the price down by this much, they get bundles going on, they give players more options, more choices.
Right.
I know that they're in talks of combining the PS Now and the PlayStation Plus. So if they can do that somehow this year and make it, what's the word I'm looking for? Attractive to PS4 owners as well as PS5 owners, then I feel like that's not going to be as big of an issue and it's going to be fine. Do I really feel like PS4s are going to sell a lot this year? No.
But I understand their reasoning of wanting to keep that option out there so that people who do want to get into the PlayStation ecosystem, as they call it, can. And it would be nice if they had deals and stuff like that, but they don't need it. People are going to buy stuff whether there's deals or not. So and they know that, so it's they're not going to give us any special deals.
No, but I feel like they could really if they really pulled it back, I feel like they could make a lot of more money doing that for the players.
Yeah. To
entice them, because it's enticing a person who already has a PS4 and wants a PS5, and Sony's we have more PS4s. A person, because a lot of people
I already have one.
A lot of the die-hard PlayStation fans already have PS4s.
Right.
So it's a way of saying here, you have a PS4, you want a PS5, we can't give that to you right now, but we can give you this.
Yeah.
We can help you with this. We can do these free upgrades. We can do these bundles. We can do these deals.
Right. We'll continue to release games that are PS4 compatible.
Yeah. So if they do that, then that'd be a good plan. But it makes sense. Kind of sucks, but it makes sense.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's it is what it is. We can't help that there's a global pandemic that literally took the supply chain
and
crumpled it up,
cracked it in half,
threw it into a fire,
and then it lit on fire,
and then the fire grew,
and then we warmed our hands on it for a bit, got toasty,
and then it spread so fast we were
gotta run, and
we started running, and then we were running, and we're still running,
and before we started running, I kicked it into another building, so
the
building's on fire.
Right. So we'll see what happens. It's very interesting, but we don't have anything to worry about because we're PS5 owners.
That's right. Sigh of relief. First night.
This is why we're not going to get any viewers.
They hate us. Yeah, they hate us.
They're like, fuck you. How did you get a PS5? And I'm like, perseverance.
Dedication. On my birthday, September 17th. That's my birthday. All you trolls out there. But anyway, that night, like, it was supposed to release, the pre-order was supposed to go up on September 17th. Mm-hmm. But I knew they were going to go up on the 16th. Mm-hmm. I could tell. Yeah. I was like, no. They're going to release it early. Because, like, some retailers started dropping that. And I was like, they're going to sell out. So the night before, I was up all night and I secured one. But when people woke up expecting to get one on the 17th, they woke up to none.
To nothing.
That sucks.
They woke
I think
up
about that sometimes.
To
like,
this.
Ooh.
Empty hands. Full pockets, empty hands.
Yeah. Clap them together and maybe you'll get a PS5. Dreams do come true.
Yeah. There's no place like PS5.
It's big. It's a big place.
It's a big place.
It's a big house.
It's a really big.
Roomy, spacious.
Oh my god! It's just, oh my god! It looks so funny on my table next to my PS4, and then I have my Switch dock. Mm-hmm. So it's just the Switch dock is like.
It's like, excuse me.
Excuse me.
And it's like, what?
Somebody say something.
Tower.
All right, Mary. I'm gonna kick it off to you now.
Yeah. So I was looking at an article. Because I've been a viewer of GDQ for a while now. And I don't remember when I started watching it. I just knew that I liked it. Yeah. So GDQ is Games Done Quick. And they've been like hosting these live events for speedrunners or for people that, it's mainly speedrunners who go through these games. It could be any like timing of game. It could be a newer game, older game, retro game. And basically they try to like set the record and pull the record and give donations into it. But... Actually, can you scroll back up a little bit?
Yeah.
I want to go to the title.
Of course I can.
Yeah. So I basically said this is the origins of Games Done Quick and success story of Mike. I'm going to mispronounce it. Uyama. The article was written by Petula Deverick.
Wow.
Those Washington
are some
Post.
Names.
Yes. They are some names.
The Wash Post.
Yeah. But I'm impressed to hear the origins of it and also his story and how like he took his passion of gaming and he applied it in this way.
Yeah.
And like... There was a moment, because he wasn't unemployed for a moment, his mom said that during his unemployment, he said to his mom, I just don't know what to do with my life. And I prayed quietly for him that he would listen to people telling him that this gaming thing he was doing on the side is his real passion, is his life, his mom said.
That's nice. I wish my mom would have said that to me.
Yeah, right? But I think she saw the fact that, like, and a lot of times, like, people that game, some people from an outside perspective think that gaming is a waste of time. Yeah. Or gaming is not something that you can really get into lucratively. And that was a couple years ago, and now it's changing. Dialogue's changing. Now it's very lucrative. Right. Esports are a thing now. Like Twitch channels, people bring in viewers, get all those donations and things like that. But I feel like during this time, like making this amount of money, especially for a good cause, didn't really happen. Like I didn't really like hear about it before he started this. But so he started a small gathering in his mother's basement with around 20 friends to hold speedrunning marathons. The first one took 3 days.
Whoa.
And it was funny because he was like, Mom, can I have the house for 3 days? That's what he said. And she was like, and she rented an Airbnb.
Oh, that's so cool.
And she's like, yeah, that's fine. And she didn't think of anything of it. She was like, okay, fine. Like, you're going to have your friends over and do this event. And I think the first event he got, it was like $10,000. The first thing he did.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is kind of like where it is now. The Gamers Summer 2021 event raised over $2.9 million for Doctors Without Borders.
That's awesome.
Making it this is him talking, making it our largest fundraising event of the year. Marketing manager for the internal aid organization said that. Since 2011, Games Done Quick has raised over $15.7 million for this group. Ow! That's a lot of money.
That's really awesome.
For a good cause, too. Yeah. It's not going to, like, greedy people's pockets. It's going to, like, people that need it.
Right, and people who actually help other people and do good things.
Yeah. And I've as I said, I've watched it for years, and I knew that this was a good thing, a good cause, and this money was going to this, but I didn't really understand, like, where it started, like, who started it, why they started it, and it was nice hearing, like, this talk about it. But basically, Mike said, think of it as fans watching skiing or running. The world is riveted by the way Earth's best athletes ski down a mountain, super fast, round slalom poles? Yeah. Or run on track over hurdles while passing a baton. It's the same thing, but with Zelda, Tetris, Halo, and Hades.
That's a good way. That's a great way to think of it.
Yes, exactly. And I said, like, it takes a lot of skill and patience to be able to speedrun these games. This really is like the Olympics of precision and timing with video games. I thought for a while that I wanted to speedrun Donkey Kong Country. And I was like, I'm going to do this because I was so inspired by watching these athletes.
Yeah.
Really,
because
you need to use your brain, like, in such a
in your coordination, everything.
Yes, everything. And like focus, and you're live, and there's all that pressure of that while doing this and trying to like beat the record or hold the record. It's a lot of like precision there, but
yeah.
I did learn a couple of shortcuts though in Donkey Kong Country.
Wow, speedrunner.
I know. I was like, I could do this. And I was like, no, I can't. But it was fun. It made me feel like validated as a gamer that I could do some of these cool moves. I was like,
also, I like comparing it to sports.
Yes.
Because I feel the way about sports. Some people feel about video games.
I relate to that.
Where I'm like, so he kick ball?
Kickball.
Why? Why he do that?
Why he kick ball?
Why he kick ball through?
Get billions of dollars. Kickball.
Right?
Yeah.
It is really interesting because I'm like, yeah, like why? I'm like, who fucking cares? Like, why you're just gonna watch someone kick a ball around on the grass?
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't find it interesting. But I love video games, and it's like the same. It's like the same sort of thing where it's just like people are riveted by, you know, these fast-paced, like really cool, like like because some people think about sports the same way like we think about video games, like the mechanics of it, like the plays, and you know, the ins and outs of it. But like to people like me who don't care about any of this stuff and just watch it, go, that looks boring, and that's a waste of time. And people think the same way about us. Yeah. So it's an interesting perspective thing where it's just like I can understand that sentiment, and like comparing the two, it's it actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
and I think like another part of like specifically GDQ and like watching it is as a viewer, like if I was watching like a sports game, let's say, or like a guy kick a ball or throw a ball down the path of life, the path of game sportsmanship, go sports. How much I know about it, but I feel like doing that, I'm not actively engaged in it.
Yeah.
It's not an active engagement because I feel like I'm just on the sideline and they're making all the money. Like all these big companies, they're making all the money and they're doing these things. But in GDQ, like you get to see these like people who are excellent at what they do with the game that they chose and are proficient at it. And you can see them like, even if it's a game that you really enjoy, let's say that it's like Zelda Link to the Past and you're like, oh, like that's cool. How do they do that so fast? You know, I've played that game.
Right.
I would never even think to do that.
Right.
And it's really cool to see that. In addition, you can contribute your own money, which most of the donations that they have are like $5, $10, $20, but it adds up a lot. And throughout the days and weeks. But I feel like you can contribute to that. It's a good cause.
Yeah.
And you're actively engaging. It brings in the community. Like now it's in person. So they did start off with a bunch of like hotels because eventually they had to move out of the mother's basement.
Right.
Because there's too many people.
She was like, this is my house.
She's like, there's so many nerds in my kitchen.
Oh my God, nerds.
No. Invasion of the nerds.
They're drinking all the Mountain Dew.
You got any Tab? Get out of here.
Oh my God, Tab.
But Cheeto dust is everywhere.
Yes.
It's like, I feel like once he moved it to the hotels and there's like more people that started coming, and even now it's grown so much that thousands of people come when non-COVID times, of course. But I feel like that is a way to get people to travel for this, get people involved, get people to volunteer. They have a lot of volunteers. I think I did application to volunteer pretty much, but now they hold the annual one in January on the East Coast, and they add a summer marathon in Minneapolis. Like
Where
I said,
is it on the East Coast? Do you know?
I think East Coast. I want to say, I know I've watched like some GDQ events and I've seen the city and I'm like, oh, but I don't remember at the top of my head.
The place.
Yes. But they got too big even for those and held the January 2020 event in Orlando, which was huge and had nearly 3,000 in-person attendees and a constant 24-hour online presence of tens of thousands of viewers. Yeah.
Wow.
Even from when I started watching GDQ, it's really exploded.
Yeah.
They have prizes. They have things that are like giveaways and things like that to like give to the community that watch. So there's incentive there to donate. Also just incentive to donate for a good cause.
Right.
And it's video game related. So yeah, I thought that was really cool that I got to like see kind of the origins behind that and how it started off small. One person who was like, I want gaming in my life. I want this to like, this is a passion of mine. How can I give back to the community and how can I make this a life mission of mine?
Right.
And he did it. And another thing I like about Mike is that he kind of stays out of the limelight a lot. He kind of just lets his work speak for itself.
Yeah.
He isn't really vocal in the community in that way. But I feel like what he's offered the community has, again, like we were talking about the awards, push it forward, make it more recognized for the things it should be recognized for, and brings in a lot of people. So, and
Yeah.
it's really cool.
That's awesome. I know, and it's really inspiring to see people do that, or like there are a lot of streamers that I watch who do like charity streams constantly, who make, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year and donate it all to charity, and they take none for themselves. And I think it's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of shit that like I want to be able to do,
Yeah.
you know, with our stuff. And like it's really motivating, and it's, like I said, really inspiring, because it's just like we have this community, and like people, like you said, like there's a stigma sometimes from the outside of people being like, oh, video games are stupid, they're a waste of time, like whatever. But then it's like when you actually see the power of video games, what they can do for the real world, like with charity, and what they can do narratively, storytelling. Like I've played video games that have better stories than like any TV show or movie that I've seen, book that I've read, you know, and like it's just such a cool and creative medium that there's so much untapped opportunity for, I think. And so it's just like, yeah, it's really motivating and really inspiring to see people be able to do awesome things like that.
Yeah. Of course. Or more to say, gamers are the best.
Gamers are the best.
Yeah.
Me specifically.
Yeah, of course. Hail Chris. Hail Chris.
Hail, Chris. Hail! Starts hailing.
Yeah.
Ow, ow, ow!
There's a tsunami.
Oh my God. Yeah, guys, there's a tsunami warning because there was a volcanic eruption, and now the Bay Area is going to flood. So this might be the last stream.
That's true. You texted me that, and I was like, what? Earthquake? What? Tsunami? What? I thought it was like,
I knew it would make you like alert because
Yeah.
like, I know how you are.
like shook me.
You were like, is that me
I
shaking
was like,
or
I
the tsunami?
have to prepare. I get like my book bag together, and you're like, actually, it's just an advisory, and I'm like, Chris.
It is just an advisory.
Yeah.
It won't happen.
They were never heard of again.
Woo! Well, that's the end of our show. We've covered all of our topics. We've shoot the shit.
Shout it up.
It's stanky in here.
Ooh, don't want to walk in here.
So yeah, thank you so much for watching. As per usual, we will have this uploaded on the Twitch channel. We will upload it to our YouTube channel as well. Mary will cut it, and she will also edit the audio for podcasts, so you can listen to it on podcasts wherever they're available.
iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah. I recommend iTunes because then you can, again, leave us a review, 5
Yes,
stars, and leave a nice
please.
comment.
Please.
Please don't go without leaving a review.
Don't leave this page without leaving 5 stars.
5 stars.
Needs to be 5 stars.
And subscribe.
Yes,
And follow us.
absolutely.
I'm not going to do all the housekeeping again because I already said it at the beginning. So
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you for watching, those who watched. And if you could, just follow us here so you know when we're streaming. We also stream games live, and we're going to do that on Friday, Friday night.
every Friday,
Yeah.
4 p.m.
Yes.
Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
So yeah, tell your friends if you have people who also like comedy and games.
Mm-hmm.
Send them our way. We'll rough them up for you.
We'll hold them hostage.
Yeah, we'll hold 'em
They'll have
hostage.
to watch.
Every person who follows our channel, you're now our hostage.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.